So that's the only interview tonight?
Yes.
All right, good evening, Litchfield, and welcome to the March 6th meeting of the Conservation Commission. We'll start off the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then for roll call, Mr. Croto.
Present.
Harry.
Harry, present.
Joan, present.
Matt, I'm present as well.
Fred, present.
John, present.
George, present.
And George. So we were missing Jason. So that leaves us with one open position. George, would you be willing to be a voting member for tonight?
Oh, I live for this. Yes, I'd love to be a voting member.
All right, thank you. All right, and next we have public input related to non-agenda items. Since we have no one here, we can move on to into the new business. So we'll start right off with Nano Bubbler update, George.
Okay, so I actually had a meeting with the Moliere people today. So it was a, Teams meeting, and so I met with their team. They wanted more information about Dara Pond. I reached out to DES this week, and I think I might have sent it around to everybody. I have all of the historical data from 85 to 2024, so it has, visibility, pH, nitrogen, phosphate levels. So they had some, technical people there, so they don't just come in here and put the bubbler in and leave. They do studies to make sure that it's working, and they take readings. What this technology basically does is it increases the dissolved oxygen content specifically to help at the bottom of the lake level, all right, where the muck is. And so it helps beneficial bacteria to grow and perhaps come out of hibernation. If the dissolved oxygen level gets too low, the sediment can actually release phosphorus out of the sediment, and that can lead to the bad algae blooms that can occur. I think we've had 2 bad algae blooms, cyanide bacteria, cyanobacteria blooms, and that's the stuff where, beach closes happen. They have those at Robinson Pond almost every year. Mm-hmm. I think we've only had a couple of those, but this treatment would help with the adding the dissolved oxygen, getting rid of some of the muck at the bottom, and making it a healthier lake, better for fish, blah, blah, blah. So it could help with the phosphorus problem that we have, and potentially the nitrogen problem. So I asked them a few questions. Well, as part of this, when I spoke with DES, they would require a shoreline permit, so they need a permit if we were to do this, okay? And it's a 5-month free treatment, but they don't pay for any site work that's needed. One of the big questions was, now I know we have a power pole right at the top of the path going down to the beach. They would prefer 3-phase, 460 volt, 100 amp service. Do you know if we have 3-phase service out there?
The panel, so the panel looks like it may, but it's in the building.
That one's in the building, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what goes
That
out to
would
the shed or anything like
Probably
that.
be a question asked Recreation Committee.
Right,
Yeah.
I just thought he might know.
Yeah, I don't know
so-
for sure.
Yeah.
I have 3-phase going into the communications tower, but I don't know what's been extended into the property.
They can do so their equipment can run on single phase. In that case, though, they need 200 amps rather than 100 amps.
Just for that pump?
Well, they have a pump, an oxygen generator, and a compressor. An oxygen compressor that takes the oxygen out of the air, and takes the nitrogen out, so it's pure oxygen, and then they have their bubble generator, plus the pump. Okay, so, that's one of the requirements. So they have like an 8 by 16 foot trailer that houses this stuff, and they put a hose, an inlet and outlet hose into the pond, and they said it may go 20 feet into the pond. I asked about if it would stir up sediment or anything like that, and they said, no, it would not. And from that single location, they would be able to make sure the water, all the nanobubbles would travel throughout the pond. They said they may choose, based upon measurements, to move the pickup and input to a different location if they did that. It does run 24/7, and the sound level is less than 65 decibels, which is a little bit less, or quiet dishwashers now are at 45 decibels, the ones you can't hear. So it's about like a normal dishwasher, okay, is what the sound level would be. I said so this would prevent, work on the muck, remove or lessen the chance for algae blooms, brings down any E. coli levels, and with the oxygenation, there can be less toxins. They said they do have an ozone generator option, but some states require more permitting, and so typically they don't do that. They asked me, do you think your town would be willing to buy this at the end of the thing? I said, well, how much is it? Well, it's $300,000. And I said, given the current level in town, it probably no. Okay, so I was upfront with them that we're not paying $300,000 for something to put oxygen into Dara Pond. They said, well, we could possibly do short-term leases, or and so who knows? But they're going to, I sent them some more information after the meeting. It was a great meeting. They're really nice people. And we'll see, we have a chance to win. I guess it's closing tomorrow. There are some more contestants, I guess, that they're interviewing. And what they would get from us would be just a feel-good story, about how we turned the pond around and how the town's using it, blah, blah, blah. And so that could work for them. They're trying to get into the Northeast. They're a company mostly in the West and Midwest. Some of these people grew up in the Northeast and moved out there. So that is all that. And I did that sort of just before I came here. I finished up.
So I assume it's a secured trailer?
Yes,
that they would
it's a
have?
locked trailer. Now, if it turns out that we don't have the power requirements and we would have, if there was any wiring, that had to be done, we would have to pay for that. So we would have to figure out whether we want to do that or not, but it doesn't hurt to see if we, what
See if
we
you
can get out.
get it first.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Do we, any sense of how much it would actually cost to run it? I mean,
Okay.
when I think of 200 amps, I'm thinking that's my house, that's
Okay,
$500 a month and
$1,200 a month,
$1,200 a month.
yes, yeah,
5 months, you said?
5 months,
And that's on us to pay for that.
that is on us, okay? Now,
Yeah.
just to put this in perspective, the next thing we're gonna, or, I don't know if it's the next, yes, the next thing we're gonna talk about is the milfoil treatment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the cost of milfoil treatment versus?
10,000.
So 5
Ru-
months, so roughly,
It's similar,
if it solved the problem, it's similar, yeah.
Well, wouldn't we have to do both? The bubbler and the milfoil?
yes. So,
Oh.
the milfoil treatment is critical to removing the milfoil, especially at the beach, right? You can't use the beach with the way it is now because of entanglement issues or swimming and, right? So you would definitely want to do the milfoil, and then this would help with water quality beyond that, especially with visibility as well. I don't know, I gave these numbers previously, but the visibility for me is one of the most glaring ones. So in 1985, you could see 7.6 meters down to the very bottom, you could see the disc.
It's 21 feet basically. Yeah.
Right. in August 15th of this year, you could see 0.7 meters. Okay, so, you know, 1.5 feet, 2
I
feet.
was gonna say, yeah, 1.5 feet.
Right. So that was 2024. So unfortunately, we don't have very good data. So the next one going back is 20 years ago. In 2004, we could see 6 meters. No, 3.9 meters. So,
Still pretty decent for a pond.
right, but we're dropping off, you know.
Yeah, I'm
We've
saying
dropped
that-
off considerably, yeah. Yeah. So anyways, it's a starting point. I got a good feel for them. I gave them a bunch of information. And they seem like decent people. We'll have to see what they have to say. But there was like a program manager, someone that was really into the phosphorus and nitrogen, and she was asking me certain questions. And then there was another guy that had obviously looked at all the different data, and he was like, you know, the data guy. So it was a pretty good team and they're interested in not just coming in and putting the thing in there, but monitoring the system, whatnot.
Okay, so what you're saying is that we need to get rid of the milfoil first?
No.
We have to treat the milfoil first?
You don't have to treat it first, but
It makes sense.
it would make sense. I mean, taking the milfoil, especially out of the beach area, is, you know, step one to making it usable, okay? You know, if there's milfoil, and now this is, what we have in Dara is native milfoil, okay? Now, when you see people going out and treating milfoil and worrying about it being spread around, it's the invasive Eurasian milfoil. If you have Eurasian milfoil, you can get state money to pay for the eradication of it and the moving out of it. But because this is a native milfoil, the state doesn't pay for the eradication. And because it's native, they really don't like to do treatments of ponds, because they say it's a native species and it's growing naturally and whatnot. But because it isn't a risk to swimming and entanglement, and we can't use the beach, well then, they will most likely grant us the ability to do the treatment.
So, I've been hearing about milfoil treatment for a long time, and it's never been done. If this is such a natural, you know, resource we wanna maintain, why have we not spent the money? And I assume the board is not, I'm assuming the board is not gonna have to be involved, and make that decision too.
Yeah,
but-
so we went for approval from the board last year, and we received approval, but the issue was the company wasn't able to treat us last year.
They dropped the
And
ball.
then-
So we approved as a board spending the $10,000 last year. The selectmen approved us sending it. We found a company to do it. The problem was this started in 2019. Solitude came in and gave us a quote, but then they would not return our calls, right, Joan?
Right, but then,
I
and
think I
the
recall
selectmen
that
wanted
now,
more information, and then that never came to be, so that's why they never did.
But the $10,000 was coming out of the conservation
Yes.
fund, so
the
that's
land-
why, okay.
The land
And then the
fund.
selectmen wanted to know how much this is gonna cost into the future. We really didn't know.
And we don't really know that yet. It depends on how the treatment was.
So
done.
we're talking, what, in the summer sometime?
He said he would do it so I reached back out to Arbor Pro. Now, he was very apologetic at the end of the year last year, saying that it was his fault that the application wasn't done in time and that, you know, we're, first on his radar this year. And so I reached back out to him. He gave me a renewed quote. I didn't check to see if it's the exact same quote. It's $10,850, okay, which is very similar. I'd have to go, I apologize, I did not look up the old quote, but I think it's almost exactly the same. So, and what this includes is he writes the permits, right? They have to do a water study before and after they do the treatment. He has to contact the abutters put something in the newspaper. And he also included, now, what he's gonna put in is something called muck away, which is beneficial bacteria to eat the muck just in the, swimming area. Now, I talked with the, nanobubble people, and I said, by bringing in this beneficial bacteria, isn't that essentially the same thing as what you're doing with adding the oxygen to the bacteria to revitalize it because their treatment, the bacteria eats the muck. And they said, yes, but you're just throwing it in there, it's not.
This is circulating, yeah.
It's not sustainable, do you know what I mean? But it does essentially the same thing. So what he does is he brings in some beneficial bacteria to eat the muck just in the swimming area, so it would be it'll be sandy. So for the $10,850, you get the treatment. He says he's gonna perform the treatment in 2 parts. And I think I've explained this before. When you kill, vegetation, it falls to the bottom and bacteria will eat that and consume the oxygen in the water. So you can deplete the oxygen level for a period of time while that vegetation is dying. And so what they do it in a couple of stages so that the fish can move to areas where there is oxygen. So you don't do the whole pond at once. You would have a fish kill. They do it in stages.
And that's $10,000 for the whole
So
treatment.
That's
Is he
$10,000.
going to be able
what
to do it in
time
the
frame
spring?
we roughly talking about?
He said he would do it in the spring.
In the spring?
This year.
This
This year, after ice out, he said he would do it. Now, I thought it was a systemic herbicide that he was applying so I have to trust the guy that he knows what to apply at what times. So he said he would do it early
Okay.
in the spring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought, I remembered from last year that they wanted to wait till it was established so they would have something to kill too, so.
So it could be that he used a different chemical. I don't know, but he said it would be early in the spring.
And he
Wow.
would do, it wouldn't be the whole pond at once, it would, then he'd.
Two treatments.
Half and half.
Do we know how far apart those treatments are?
No, I don't.
Okay, we have 2 events scheduled for Darrell Pond. One being, well, both of them are the Let's Go Fishing programs. One's in late April and the other one's in early May. So would it be,
I think it's a 24-hour period where you don't, you know, you can't go swimming.
well, I'm not talking about swimming, I'm talking about,
But, yeah, so I'm thinking that, I guess you're saying that if they did a treatment in the beach area right before the tournament, the fish could move offshore? Is that what you're thinking?
yeah,
Since we know the dates, we could, bring that up with him and, you know.
Well, maybe
schedule.
we request the different spot of the pond be
Exactly.
treated. I
So
mean,
we-
it might
we-
push more fish over to the
I'll,
shore if we treat the opposite end of the pond, right?
okay, no,
But it
just,
says some-
no,
some-
that's,
some- some-
so we can definitely
it's options,
let him know about those dates.
okay.
Right, so I believe what we'll need, even though we voted for this last year, we're gonna have to have a motion and vote to spend the money, and then we're gonna have to then go to the, Board of Selectmen again, because, I mean, we were given the approval already once, but I think we're, just to cover all our bases, I think we're.
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
have to
we
do that
should
again.
definitely do that. And also, given if he said he wants to treat it in early spring, right, we're already into March, so that could be April, May, so.
So I don't think you have to go and ask for money again. I think you just gotta go and let them know that if the motion they made was to authorize it with no date certain, they've already authorized the money. It's your
Okay.
money anyway at that point.
Mhm, okay.
I would suggest you go and let them know, and we can do it just as an update that
Yep.
this was delayed, it's coming up, this was pre-approved on this day, and if there's any issues at that point, we
And
can have
George, you said the quote was similar,
So,
Sounds like-
yeah, I was just looking at, last year,
Did we sign a contract with them though? Or was that supposed to happen?
well, we had not signed one with them. So he's gonna ask for $4,000, deposit to buy chemicals and do the legwork. I checked with DES today, to say, would we get approved for this? Because it's not, you know, I don't wanna give this guy a deposit
And not have it approved.
and
yeah.
not have it approved, and they gave me the language that I just told you, that if it's affecting a swimming area, that they would approve that because, they, you know,
Right.
but normally they would not approve just to clean up the pond. Okay. So, because it's affecting the swimming area, we'll be able to most likely be able to get the application.
Yeah, I mean, once we have that contract, I'd definitely get in front of the board to have it approved and renew the commitment to the funding, right? So they'll,
Yeah, we'll definitely provide an update, and if you need to ask permission, we'll do that.
now, you said that the board asked for what's the plan long-term, and I don't think that's still been determined, right? Because you have to figure out how this treatment takes
Works.
to the, and then what it needs as follow-up, right?
And I guess the question is, if the treatment is successful, do we want to consider maybe, approaching the town saying, having a fund available to put monies in for that particular type of treatment? And,
I think it'd be more than 1 year, like maybe skip a year and then do it again.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's where we need a recommendation for
Find out
what the recommended maintenance program would be for it.
Is Darapon,
Ongoing.
is Darapon recreation or is it conservation?
The pond itself is state of New Hampshire controlled, but the area around is probably recreation.
Okay.
It is a great pond. Was originally 12 acres or
Okay,
more.
the quote last year was exactly the same at 10,850. Okay,
Oh, it was the same?
it was the same.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
so do we wanna get a motion to approve?
Well, John said that our last motion was approved. Do we need another one?
So what I'm saying is you already asked for the 10,000, whatever, I'm assuming you asked for 10,850 if that's the same money.
Yeah.
It was already approved. If they didn't time sensitive it, then I don't see any reason why you gotta go back for that reason. I would say make a motion that you wanna proceed. And then, as we get the application, we have to go for the 4,000, we'll update the board and make sure it's still the reservations. That would be their opportunity to say, we don't want you to do it.
Mhm.
You haven't signed a contract yet, right?
But
But I wouldn't
we,
think that.
we would move forward, I would move forward go to the board. I have a quote, and we would,
In the contract, cause the board has to sign the contract.
okay, so I will get a contract.
Okay, that's probably
Yeah.
best, do it all in one step.
Yeah, so we'll need, cause we need the $4,000 up front, right, so we'll need the.
Yeah, cause you'll have the contract, that'll go through the office and get paid, and the board will be aware that you're continuing with what they already approved, and that's their point to say, we don't agree with it anymore, something changed, right? I don't think that's gonna be the case, but,
So do we need a motion?
I mean, we already approved
Not
it
yet.
last year, I don't know,
Yeah.
I mean, to
I
cover
would
our
just-
bases, we can do one.
I think just consensus that George, once he gets the contract, he'll get on the board of selectmen's agenda to get the contract approved by them, and get them authorized to check for $4,000 for the first deposit payment.
Okay. So once it gets a contract, then we need a motion.
So, having dealt with the money thing, they're gonna need to know that, I guess we could search through last year's minutes.
Yeah, we'll have to
Let's
find
ju-
it, yeah.
Let's just do, why don't we just do it again, so we have it, we know which.
Because if we do it tonight, and we make the motion to spend the 10,850, then they don't have to go searching for it.
I'll find it right now.
Okay. Okay, you know what you're doing. Okay, if you can find it, we're good. And I think that's all we have, on that. Okay, next.
Yeah, George, this is the George show right now.
I'm so glad I'm a voting member.
Winter Fishing Derby.
Okay, Dara Fishing Derby. It went extremely well. We had 60 kids end up signing up, and there were at least 100 adults along with those kids, so 160 people on the ice. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures.
Yes,
And perfect weather.
The weather worked out great. So, it was a great day. Next year, there's a couple things we might want to do differently. We'll make sure that we reach out to Highway Department to see if they could plow to the top of the beach. We were able to get everybody in and out, but it was a little dicey. I think we need to maybe have more people setting up tip-ups so that we can streamline the process for people getting tip-ups in the water. So maybe we have a class for the helpers, or we find more helpers to, set up the tip-ups. And maybe a little bit more food. I mean, we had 24 hot dogs. Those went quick. The hot chocolate, I think, went over.
Oh, yes. They,
That
they
was
will, they
Yeah,
will go
so I
out.
mean, we were experimenting, right? We
But we
were,
had-
we were expecting maybe 15 kids, right?
We had no
It's-
idea how many kids were gonna show up, and most of them, there were a few people that showed up with their own huts and their own equipment, but most of them had never gone ice fishing before, and, the kids, just, they like scooping the ice out of the hole, right? Or they all wanted to grab their own minnow to, I hooked it on, but I asked these kids, do you wanna grab a minnow? And the one kid had knit gloves on, and he reaches right into the luckily it wasn't a very cold day, but he's right with his knit gloves. And so it went over pretty well. So we only caught 10 fish total. There were 3 largemouth bass, a
beautiful fish too.
perch, and a number of bluegill. So the only way it could have been better if we caught more fish, but a few flags went off and people saw the fish, so it was good. So
I didn't hear any complaints at all. Everybody seemed real
As
happy.
far as a class on setting the tip-ups, or actually using the tip-ups, like I said, the Let's Go Fishing program specifically has a class to do that, which you don't have to join, be an instructor, but we can organize a class with information and all that sort of stuff. So we can do that for next year when we have more people. Yeah, it was, just as a side comment, there were 2 girls, they were sisters. So the older sister came by and said, I caught a fish. And I said, how big? Oh, 7.5-inch bluegill. Okay. So then another little girl, which I didn't recognize, said, my sister just checked in, but I just beat the pants off her. And I'm figuring, something, my fish is 8 inches. 20 minutes later, the older girl comes back and says, well, my sister thinks she outdid me. I tied her and I got another 8-inch one. So that was kind of humorous. And then on the hot dogs, we kind of overcooked some of them, right? So we talked to the people and we said, do you mind if they're overcooked? No, I'm hungry.
yeah,
Boil them next time.
there was a line of people that, no, it really worked great, and
Yeah.
everybody had.
The only other thing I would set up is in the sign-in, a lot of people didn't realize there were probably more than 60 people there, but they didn't know exactly where to go to sign in.
Maybe a sign for registration, yes.
Yeah. And that would be the only other, outside of that, George, you did an excellent job.
It was
Yeah,
good,
we'll have to
good
think
team effort.
about stoves and stuff, because we had propane, and it was just too cold for the propane.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
heating very efficiently.
Yeah, Jason brought
We'll figure that stuff
brought
out.
his solo stove, and he had his music out. It worked. It worked pretty well. Everybody, the weather was good. That made it. It was a little cold in the very beginning. So, maybe next year we go 9 to 1 instead of 8 to 12, just
So the sun
to
gets
let the
hot.
sun get a little bit higher. you know.
Plus setup.
And we'll set up out in the sun a little bit more. So our main area will probably be straight off the beach this time. You know what I mean? Just for make it easier for checking.
The only other comment, and this is kind of poking fun at George, his wife came down to me and she said, "Where is George? I don't see him." And I said, "Well, he's out there somewhere." "Well, where?" And I said, "Well, he's kind of all over the place, sort of like Ricochet Rabbit." And your wife didn't acknowledge who Ricochet Rabbit was. Would you deprived her in her Saturday morning cartoons?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I mean,
I was not with her
the
when
three
she was.
guys were extremely busy.
Yeah, no, it was
And we
good.
could have used,
Yeah, that was a
you know,
little
maybe
crazy.
one or two more.
I think we drained every auger battery that there
Pretty
was
close,
from everybody.
17 inches of ice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and,
It used all of it.
yeah, and, no life jackets were needed.
Yeah, when people came to me and they said, "Well, where do we go?" I said, "Well, you follow that guy in his brown coat and follow that guy."
Yeah, so it was great. It was a
So-
good event. And so, first
You
annual,
did an
first,
excellent job
Thank
and
you.
you should be congratulated.
Yeah, it was an excellent job.
first annual.
So we need to make sure we put in the order for cold weather next year so we can have another one.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
And a sunny day.
Yeah.
You all done?
yeah.
You all done? Just to go back to the milfoil for a second. So the original approval was February of 2024. They authorized $11,000 out of the conservation land with no date certain on it. It was for the first application, so I think you're all set. I think what we said, go
Okay.
for it. A little bit of history, 2019, I think it was, who was it? Solitude?
Yeah.
They came
Yeah.
out and developed a plan for a 3-year milfoil treatment. They were trying to raise 2019, $35,000 to do they had a warrant article in 2019, it got pulled. They had another warrant article in 2021, got pulled because of COVID. And then you guys came back again in 2024, so. So yeah, $11,000 was authorized. Move forward, bring the application forward for them to approve and authorize $4,000 of that $11,000.
Was that the selectmen's minutes?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
The exact, it's the February 12th, 2024 meeting. Motion was made by Lynch and Gannon.
Okay.
And that you guys approved it on April 8th of 2023. So it took you guys a little while to get up to talk to him,
Yeah.
so.
Well, it took a long time for us to find someone to do it, and then
Yeah.
they dropped the ball, but he's working with me.
It's got a history.
Okay, next one.
All right, next, have to talk about spring fishing derby.
Okay, so I called Jesse at the fish farm and got the quotes for the fish. So, last year we bought 175 brook trout, 8 to 10 inches, all right? They are $4.50 a piece, all right? And that was $787.50. We also, we sweetened the deal a little bit. Matt and myself kicked in extra money, and we bought 10 of the 12 to 14 inch rainbows, which was another $80. Okay. My suggestion this year is to do the 175 8 to 10 inchers, and maybe 10 to 12 inchers. Those are $6 a piece. Okay, and 10 of the 12 to 14s. The reason why I wanted to get a couple of the bigger ones is because everybody was coming in with, 8.5 inch,
Yes.
8.5 inch, 8.5 inch,
Yeah.
right? And there was, I think, only 1 or 2 of the big
Yeah.
rainbows were caught. Just one, maybe, right?
One.
Yes.
Now, I went and caught one right after the tournament, so they were there, but maybe they just weren't using the right stuff there. So it's a $60 delivery fee.
Wow, he's gone up.
Yeah, so so what do we have here? 787, that's 847, 952. $1,002, I think. I think it's like $1,002, something like that.
Okay, so we have $750 in our budget, and Rec has $750 in theirs, I believe. I didn't see what
Correct.
was approved.
Yes, theirs is $750, ours is $750, so we have $1,500 to spend. Now, I spent $180, on supplies last year, assorted supplies. I might be able to cut that down a little bit. Now, the only one question we have is, the police detail. We didn't pay for it last year, there was some,
You don't pay for
we
it.
don't pay for that, okay, all right. So, with a, say, another $180 or 200, so do we try to push to spend do we get a few more fish to bring us to the, closer to the,
Well,
There's some-
first of all, the rec is gonna give us another $750, correct?
yes, we split the cost right down the middle
Yeah,
between the two
so
of us.
it'll be 1,500 that we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's 1,500 we can spend, yes,
yeah, and the state will supply
200
at
more,
least
up to 250,
up to 200 fish.
yes.
So, do we want to increase our 750 to 900?
We can't, that's what the budget that's approved for, but we
Oh,
can
it's
spend
already
up to
approved?
750. Yeah, that's part of our.
Okay,
Yeah,
so then I make a motion that we spend up to $750 in the budget for whatever cost that George needs to do for the spring fishing derby. With the, with the caveat that the rec committee will split the cost with us.
So you're saying, at the discretion, spend up to $750, so.
Yeah.
If we decide to add some larger fish, we can do that with approval.
And we're gonna have more territory this year, so we're going to fish, all the way to the pool behind the second bridge.
Yeah.
Um,
So we'll
And
have to,
we'll put the fence down there.
yeah, put the fence down there, and we'll also have to distribute the
Yeah.
fish a little better than we did last year.
Yeah,
Oh, no, they'll make it. So, the people that were in the, fishing right in front of the fence were in the kill zone. So they caught, a lot of the fish came out of that, right in the
Oh, okay.
pool, right next to the fence.
Oh, cause we can also have them bring, some of the fish up to the community garden and drop by the second fish.
Yes, yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
easy access.
yes,
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's good.
So
So,
we need to vote on the motion.
motion to spend up to
Yeah,
seven
so
hundred fifty.
Harry, you made a motion to
Yes.
spend up to 750.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion by Harry and a second by, Michael. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, motion carries, 7-0-0.
Just one question. Are we going to allow people to fish from the bridge?
Yes, I think so from the first bridge, there's no fish there, and there's no way there, so I think the odds of them falling in the water are greater from the
Oh,
bank.
I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is if you get people fishing from the bridge and you've got people fishing from the banking, you're going to have a conflict.
Yeah, I don't, so there's we would have to cut a branch from the second bridge in order to facilitate fishing from
You-
that bridge,
We
so.
left it
we left it-
intentionally.
Yeah, we left it there so it'd be an impediment.
There's
So,
branches there.
I don't, anybody who tries to fish there is gonna get frustrated, so I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, if you,
Yeah, just remember we're dealing with young adults.
yeah, and parents who.
And parents.
Right.
They never fished before.
I think it's okay, let them, like I said, they're not going to catch fish if they fish there.
Okay?
Yeah, no, I think it's, Tangled line is part of fishing, so.
It's the full experience.
Okay, I want you standing, no,
I'll be down there.
I don't know how many I
I'll
untangled
cut
last
the
year.
lines, so I don't
So-
have a problem with that.
Uh-huh,
Okay,
all right.
All right, any other logistics we need to talk about for, fishing derby? Like, I assume rec is gonna take care of, porta potty again and.
so I will go to the rec and ask them to do the porta potty. And, I'm probably just going to send an email. I don't know if I have to meet with everybody, because it went off so well last year with, highway department, fire and police. I mean, just sent emails to the police chief and fire chief for the ice fishing derby and that worked out. We
Yeah,
have the
they
date.
they
It's-
both
Yeah.
had a presence there,
Yeah,
and highway department.
and I'll make sure that we send the email to the superintendent a couple of weeks before the Derby. I tried to send it on a Friday and then they were gone and it didn't get sent out until the next Friday, which is the Friday before the tournament. So, I mean, there was enough people at the ice fishing derby, but we'll,
Now,
What's the date again? for
May
the spring?
17th.
17? Okay, thanks.
parking, we're gonna get hold of Wilson Farm and ask them if they can use their lot.
I think we're just, since we have the other bridge, why don't we just have them park in the community garden?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's plenty.
yeah, we got
of room.
plenty of space there.
Nobody used the Wilson's farm lot
Oh,
last year,
didn't they? Okay,
so,
fine.
I would, if you're gonna, road agent and the police department, I would just make sure an email goes to both department heads well ahead so they can plan for it.
yeah, no, it'll be well ahead. And it'll be, well, and DPW,
Highway, yeah.
highway, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna want cones and barricades, right?
Yeah, and what we're going to do, as soon as the fish get delivered, we're shutting down Parker Park. So we don't have to deal with
Disgruntled.
Been there, done that.
disgruntled fishermen. So,
We'll have to take turns camping out in
Camping
lawn
out,
chairs with
yep.
pitchforks.
oh, it's not a pleasant experience.
No,
No, it is
Yeah,
not.
I had to talk to a couple people
It's-
last year too.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, but, it is what it is. Okay, I think that's all I have. And
Alright,
so,
good.
I do have, a file, and I created a 2025 folder, so, and it's got the same checklist that I did last year. So I'm gonna be updating that as things happen and mark it green, so if you ever wanna go and look. Oh,
All right, you good, George?
I'm good.
So the next thing I had was, reappointments to the Conservation Commission. So we vote, next month, is that correct, John? Or we fill the chair, vice chair, and,
Yeah, you rebalance your, yeah.
yeah, so I just wanna open it up to everybody if anybody wants to, is interested in one of the positions, to think about it and talk about it. We are gonna have an opening for Economic Development Committee. Jason was doing that. He doesn't wanna do it anymore, so something to think about.
What's the economic,
Committee, a separate committee.
no, what's that committee you just mentioned? The,
It's part of the town, looking at
Yeah.
economic development within the town, so there's representatives from all the boards and commissions, on there. Be able to, make sure we bring different perspectives from the different groups. So you interested, Harry?
sure.
All right. Yeah, again, we'll talk about it next month. I just wanted to bring it up in case the, folks were interested in, different positions to think about it. The next thing we have is the summer intern candidate selection, so we have received resumes. Interviewing is kind of tough. We'd like to do it as a whole commission, but it's just the timing. I mean, all these kids are in school, so they have limited schedules. We were trying to get people to come in during the meeting, but we didn't have much success doing that. We did have one of the candidates that stopped by at 6 o'clock that we spoke to tonight, and someone who dropped by earlier today, and then another candidate we're hoping to interview sometime tomorrow. But I just wanted to run that by, at least for the initial round of interviews. If, I'd like to just recommend maybe, Jason, George, and I, do those, just so we have, you know, three people, so we don't have to, you know, schedule a non-public meeting, post agendas and stuff like that, cause it's just, again, with these kids' schedules, it's tough to get everybody in time, but, I mean, I don't wanna speak on behalf of the commission, so I wanted to get everybody's input for that. And then I think, what would be appropriate is when we get to, final selection, maybe we have a meeting where everyone can meet, and just make sure that they're in agreement with what our recommendation is.
Yeah, so the problem was, we were hoping to have a non-public meeting after tonight, but because they're all in school and whatnot, they couldn't make it. And then, it didn't mean to be subversive or anything like that, but like you said, you know, we don't wanna be accused of any impropriety, having meetings, you know, that aren't, with, you know, quorum, and being accused of breaking any rules, so we just kind of wung it when we found out they could meet before the meeting.
So again, I just wanna open that up for comments to make sure everybody's
Wow.
comfortable with
So-
that.
George, Jason, and you, will interview these people, and you'll give us their,
We'll make a recommendation to the commission, make sure
Okay.
you have access to all the information if we wanna
and
bring,
we'll have to vote on it.
the candidate
And
in.
it may be just me and Matt, since Matt and I have talked to two of the candidates already, and Jason has not. I'm just to be fair, I don't know.
So, I mean, we do have some decent candidates there.
Yeah, no,
There- we have
they're both very
three
good.
Litchfield residents that we're currently talking to, so. Great.
Okay.
So any discussion on that?
Sounds fine.
All right, then getting into old business, Moore's Falls sidewalk update.
I just can't win. So today, I got an email back, the person I'm dealing with retired.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
So
boy.
now I have to start over. He did give me a name of the person that's taking over, so I'll call that person. Get going again.
It's retired from the state.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I know.
And then for, along those lines, with a Corning Farm riverfront easement, Reggie Moreau is out of town for a few weeks. He's expected in next week, so I was not able to have a discussion with him, but we should have an update for next meeting. And then our DeRocher farm champion is not in, but he's been proceeding with that. I mean, he's gotten
The
I
deed,
think he's gotten everything he needs back from the lawyer, so I
Yeah.
think we're
Did it
in a
fly?
pretty good
It
position.
flew? It went through?
well, he got the deed written by our lawyer, and
Yeah.
then he had to have the state look at it and see if,
So it's in the state's hands now?
I believe so. Is that,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the last I saw it was.
yeah.
So now, after the state looks at it, then it goes to the registry.
no, then it's gotta go to the owners. They've gotta sign off on it.
Okay, and then to the registry?
And then to the registry, I believe.
Yeah, file with
It's just-
registry.
The state doesn't have any changes to it.
So there's good progress. It's only been a 3-year project,
Seems longer.
but we're we're making
Chug along.
making
This is-
progress.
This is the one that we thought we were gonna do in a year and a half.
Yeah, so we need, when this closes, we need to do something special for Jason, cause he's probably spent hundreds of hours on
Yes,
this.
he
It's
has.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yes.
And we need to get publication in the NHACC, when this is finalized.
Yeah.
Up there now.
Yep. All right, next, we have the, community garden. Michael's reformatting as we're talking here.
I guess I did, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did there.
I'm like, did I do that?
No,
Did you
Hit a
guys
button or
Google
something.
Docs?
Control Z, Control Z.
Control Z?
Yeah.
Should
It
be
undoes-
hopefully undo everything. You may have to do it a couple times,
Yeah.
but.
Oh, okay. It's all right. Next up is a community garden, so snow's melting quick, so we're gonna have to, figure out next steps on that. So what I'm thinking for that is we need to get a committee within the garden, which they started to do last year, so they got some people that are willing to be involved and help with us. And what I'd like to have is a liaison from Conservation Commission to be able to work with them as the primary contact, you know, just to see if we're meeting their needs and to, you know,
But there was already a committee established.
Just of the, well,
for the community garden.
Right, I thought there was a community, because there's been meetings that have been hosted
they
here.
they have a,
Yeah,
they have a group email. I think that's all they have.
Yeah, we had some people that we kind of asked to step into certain roles, but we never formalized a committee for it. We had a
Oh,
little,
okay. No, it
a little
wasn't.
bit of some changes of hands and stuff
Okay.
last year, so we were just trying to get everything together, but I'd like to get rid of some of that chaos, so we're a little more organized this year. So if we can have, if someone's interested as being that liaison,
I
I'm
would
not
be-
gonna ask George to
I would
take
be
on anything
interested.
else.
I would be
Okay, great.
Yeah. And then don't we have to check with the landowner and to see how long that lease goes or whatever the agreement is? I've
Um,
never seen the agreement.
Yeah, I'll have to see. We should have it on the Google Drive. I'll have to look on that.
Oh, didn't, we're leasing that land?
We're not actually, I don't think we're actually leasing it, are we?
No, we're not
I
paying
thought that
for
got
it.
signed over to us.
No,
No,
it's
it's not
not,
signed
no,
over
it's
to
not
us.
signed
We
over to
don't-
us.
we don't-
We're just, we don't own it at all. The agrarian trust
It's
owns it.
kind of
Right.
like an easement.
No, it's probably just a MOU to right to use for access, right?
Right to use, yeah. But there was some, there's a document out there, and I think Kim probably has it also.
Yeah, I'll look
Terminates.
through the.
The lease goes for a period of 10 years,
Okay.
from January 1st, 2023, terminating on the 31st day of December 2032.
Oh, the
What-
asteroid's supposed to hit the Earth in 32, so that shouldn't be a problem.
It's a fertilizer.
Well, it
2032.
depends on if it's the beginning of
Good
the
to
year or
know.
later in the year.
Is that in the,
They haven't defined how
Portal?
close,
Yes,
what
so,
part of the year.
yeah, it's under properties, you know, folder 4, community garden number 5, and then there's a lease right there.
thanks.
So Joan, what I'd like to do is I'll reach out, because we should probably try to get a meeting scheduled for towards the end of the month to bring everybody in.
Of the applicants of the garden, you mean?
Yeah, for the, you know, just through the Facebook page to organize a meeting. John, I forget the process to reserve a room, but if we could get the community room at the fire station, the application's just up on the town website, right?
You just have to go through Donna to schedule it for you. So she
For
schedule, if
this
it's gonna be,
one,
if it's a phone, if this room or even the fire department room,
She does the fire department room?
she
as
can
well?
book that also. Cause, the meeting has to officially go on the town calendar if it's gonna be
Mm-hmm. Yep.
committee. And then that will reserve the room for you, it's available, so.
It sounds good, yeah. So I'll try to get something going for the, for the end of the month to get people together so we can start
When you
planning.
go to reserve the room, just be aware that every Wednesday night
Yeah.
is
they-
tied up by the fire department, okay?
Yeah, if you want the fire department, and actually, it's getting a little tough for now, cause they're doing firefighter 1 training, which is taking up the room for other nights too, so.
This room probably be big enough.
Yeah, either one's fine, so.
Yeah, so when you do that, have several dates in mind, not just, like, learn the hard way.
Well, we'll figure out when the room's available and then propose the date.
Yeah, if you have dates, let me know, I can tell you ahead of time if you like. Just send it over to me, I'll take care of it.
Do we have any more ideas on water?
Yeah, we do have ideas on water. In fact, we started, that was, we did some budget spend at the end of last year for, we've got a solar panel and a pump now, correct, George?
Yes,
So we'll have to,
and a battery.
play with that to figure out what else we need. So probably some hosing and a way to secure it and,
We might have to come up with a switch,
yeah.
but if we could just run it and fill up the tank, you know what I mean? So you could run it while you're mowing or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, either way, so we don't have to move
Or
the
if we
trailer.
find some, responsible people that, are part of the community garden that could.
Yeah, and that's why I wanna get,
Learn how to do
cause there's people that are willing to do stuff, but we can't have them taking the trailer on the road and stuff, right?
Exactly,
They can
but-
flip a switch.
It may be, hooking up alligator clips or, making this.
What about just putting it on a timer and just let it fill itself up at night? Is there a flow sensor to tell when?
Really
it's
gets
on?
a-
It's a
monitor.
12-volt thing, but yes, yeah, we could do a 12-volt, so it's
Yeah.
all running off of a,
I mean, it's still experimental now, so we gotta see what kind of,
Yeah.
flow we can get and if we're,
yes.
Yeah, just.
figure
have
out
it-
where we can put the pump and if
Battery
we can
dump,
suck it up or have to push it up or.
When the battery's not charging, fill it back up. When it starts charging, don't fill it up anymore.
Okay. We've spent like less than $100 on this, okay, so the circuitry to put it together. We're not gonna get a Raspberry Pi and watch it from home, okay?
Just saying.
Well, Raspberry Pi, what are those, like $39?
They're more expensive now since COVID. But under 100, or under 200 actually, so, yeah.
I'm retired.
Sounds like a good intern project.
Why don't you do that? It's a good project for you.
I do not do coding anymore, okay? I'm done.
Sounds like a good intern project.
Sounds like he wants to do it, just gotta ask him to do it.
It's time for you to start stepping up, George.
I know, you're slacking.
I know.
All right, any other, discussion on the community gardens? So we'll try to get a meeting going this month for that and then figure out, I mean, the one thing for that is we have the current plots, which are good, but there's been a lot of interest in the community gardens, so we might have to add some additional plots, which means we'll have to, we might need to find someone with the tiller again to prep the new plots, but we got the area for it and stuff, so should be pretty straightforward. All right, Harry, UNH lecture, Plants for Birds.
We're all set. I did finally get the community, room for the fire department.
Okay,
She'll be here the 13th. It will not be Ruth. It'll be, I believe her name, let's see,
March.
The 13th of what?
13th of March.
oh, okay, so next week.
Yep.
Oh, that's why
Oh,
there's
right.
that's why the meeting on the account says Conservation Committee.
And the young lady's name, what the heck is it? Apparently, whatever we did at that meeting, Ruth retired the next day. So,
Yeah, but we
Must
we
be-
tend to get a lot of people
Must be
retired.
Must be the water.
It's a trend. Pattern.
I'm trying to look for a name. This young lady comes out of Londonderry, which make it easier. Anyway, we're all set, and it starts at 7, and gave it 2 hours. So,
Okay, we need to make sure we're promoting that, 'cause I don't know if we've put much out on that yet.
Right, we need to get the media relations.
social
The PR
media,
folks.
I guess.
Yeah, Facebook, we'll get Jason to
Okay,
post on Facebook. I can do a posting on, the community garden page. So, what other information do you have about that, so I can reference that?
well, I mean, other than,
Is there like a flyer there with like a link
I
to the
honestly don't
program and
know.
stuff?
it's called Birdscaping Landscaping for Birds. And, what Ruth had said, that she had devised the program. Oh, the young lady, his name is Stacy, and, you know, all I can say is specifically to grow a garden to attract, you know, to attract different types of birds.
Is that the handout for it? Can you see if there's, I just want to be able to point people to some additional
Well,
information for
This
it.
is the speaker's agreement, that's all I have.
And this is gonna be at the fire station?
At the fire station. On March 13th at 7 o'clock. I'll be there at 6:30.
All right, well, that, UNH must have something on their,
They do. So if you just search for it, you'll find it.
yeah.
Usually they bring flyers with them, but they don't pass them out. What I find is they don't send them out ahead of time. They're on a, you know, budget and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that
So,
we present
the only
it
thing is that,
properly.
go ahead. No. When they come next week, I'll turn this into our accounting people.
Mhm.
And, it costs us $100. Outside of that, once we finish with that, I really don't see anything on there that there was growing vegetables in a garden or starting a garden, and I don't know, I mean, what's your feeling? I'm talking to all of you, as far as that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Well, I think I think if we plan one talk a year, right? I think that's doing our service.
Well, I'm
so we can
talking
see.
next year, I'm not.
Yeah,
talking-
we'll see if they have new programs available, and maybe
Yeah.
we repeat one of the programs to get more people
Okay.
to attend.
So, I mean, I've already signed this and sent this in, so
Hmm.
it's just a matter of her showing up and all that sort of stuff, and,
publicity, and get some publicity out there.
yeah.
I just sent you the description of the talk, okay?
All right, thanks.
It starts at
So-
7.
That
Yes.
takes care of that.
7, right?
It's 1 hour?
2 hours.
Couple
2 hours, okay. All right, Harry, and then the Let's Go Fishing program.
Okay. All right, there are 2 Let's Go Fishing programs going over to Darrell Pond. One of them is gonna be April 19th, which we're sponsoring, the Litchfield Conservation Commission. The second one is gonna be May 10th, which St. Francis is sponsoring, okay? Now, let's go back to the one that we're sponsoring. What I need, I guess from John, is some sort of sign-up log that, now remember, I'm not a whiz kid with a computer. Let me
You just want a sign-up sheet?
state that. I just need some sort of sign-up sheet or something
Okay.
that tell me how many kids are gonna show up, because the state supplies everything. We supply the rods and reels, the teaching pamphlets, the bait, the hooks, the whole 9 yards. So I need something to know how many people are gonna be there.
You need, what do you need for data, names, addresses,
As far as information, all I need is the
age?
child's name and the email address, and that's it.
You don't want the age or anything like
No.
that?
And the only reason they need that is, I mean, we know the weather will cooperate 100%, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So in case I have to cancel it.
I'll
for some
I'll send it out tomorrow. I'll build it for you this week. I mean tomorrow, and I'll send it out to you. I'll send it to the whole commission so you
Yeah.
guys look at it.
Yeah, I just need something that I can look at, and it's limited to 30 people. And the other thing is 5 and above. If they're younger than 5, it's kind of.
Yeah.
And parents are, everybody's welcome, okay? So it doesn't make any, if they can come with their kids, they can sign up with them and all that sort of stuff.
So you're saying adults can sign up as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's it's gonna be a basic fishing course. We're gonna probably, if things work out, have about 2 hours of, if you wanna call it classwork. Fish identification, I'm gonna try and teach the kids the spin knot, which is a treat and a half. Fish identification, some of the things that you need to be aware of if you catch a fish, like how you handle a pickerel or a perch or stuff like that, stuff that I don't pay any attention to. And
Cut seal.
yeah. And then we'll go down to Darrell Pond, and they can stay as long as they want, and we'll show them how to use the spin cast. And there'll probably be a bobber and a weight and a hook with a worm on it, and they can fish till about 3 o'clock or whatever time they
In
want.
classroom instruction, is that Talent Hall?
No, the classroom instructions are gonna be, I'm hoping I can do it in the pavilion over in the soccer field,
Okay.
okay? My backup, oh, by the way, George, thank you.
So, but there's still a question. Did you reply to them on what time?
Pardon?
What time did you want the hall?
10 o'clock,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. I said 10, but they sent an email saying that originally it was requested 2 to 5, and I had said 10 to 12. So,
Yeah, 10 to 12, about 2 hours.
Okay.
If I need it at all.
This is hosted by,
St. Francis had it last year,
but they-
sponsored by you.
and we did it all outside because the weather was good.
Yeah.
Actually, it was rainy, but we had a pavilion that we could do it. So we'll see what happens. And unfortunately, the 19th is also Discovery Wild New Hampshire. So we'll see what we see. And apparently, the Easter egg hunt wants to do it on the 19th. So
It's April
So
19th.
we'll have people there.
yes.
We can recruit if we need to.
No, they're not
we'll
going.
see. We'll see what happens. And
10
So,
to
so
12.
just to be clear, Harry, so for
So,
Conservation
I-
Commission,
I-
the only
I
date
sent
we're
a
worried
form
about
in
is
to
the
rec.
19th, right?
And
Yes.
St. Francis is
they asked
taking
me to
care of
clarify.
it.
Yes.
I was waiting, so I'm sending them.
Yeah, I just want to put it on the.
well, I'm only because of what George is working on Darrell Pond. I'm just making.
And I moved 10 to 12, but they had a meeting
Well,
where they thought it was 2 to 5, so.
so,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
and
include
I've
on the,
entered the 20th
form, just so it's,
century.
on
I
this side, on
finally
my side.
learned how to
Sorry.
use.
It's like I don't want to form
QR
nothing on it, which is name, address.
Yay.
Gotta put some details
No,
on
no,
it.
I'll tell you the story afterwards. Not in a bit.
All right, anything else on the Let's Go Fishing?
Not that I can think of unless you guys get some questions.
Yeah, again, we'll have to put some PR behind that
Yeah.
one too, because it's only
Sign
a
up,
month
I
away.
want to end it on the 12th because it gives me a week to go to Concord to get the stuff.
Mhm.
And hopefully I'll have about 3 to 4 instructors with me. Don't be, with everything else going on, don't be surprised. Now, are you still going to Peru?
Yes, so I'm out. I'm sorry. I would love to do it,
So,
So we have people that should be able to help out.
Yes.
In the commission
Yeah.
as well. Were you, when you said you had 3 or 4 instructors, were you had people
Well,
outside of the commission?
yeah, outside, I have somebody from I have 2 people from St. Francis. I had a third person that I just discovered is in the hospital, so I gotta make a phone call. I get the feeling that you know, who runs the program would prefer instructors, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
You know? And like I said, it's very basic, basic fishing information. It isn't anything catastrophic or anything like that. So,
Good. Anything else on Let's Go Fishing?
nope.
All right, next, property checks and maintenance. Properties haven't really been that accessible, so I'm not expecting too
Yeah,
much.
I kinda noticed driving around that, looks like there's gonna be a lot of cleanup with branches, stuff.
Yeah, there always is. So we'll do that. Anybody get any mowing done? Just gotta stay ahead of that stuff. Anybody else have anything for, property checks? All right, member input. Michael, you had a couple things.
Yeah, so I may have mentioned this maybe a couple meetings ago. The New Hampshire Wildlife Federation has a program. Part of they have a conservation committee, and the conservation committee does certain projects. And one of the projects that they're working on is turtle nesting project. This is something that has been put together by the Wildlife Federation. They're promoting it. There are a couple of conservation commissions in the state that have participated in the program. I talked to the folks on the committee. They are interested in coming in April to talk to us about it. Joan, I think may have passed out a flyer or something
Yeah.
last time. I wasn't at the last meeting, but, and I also sent a email to Matt from the folks that had been in contact with the Barrington Conservation Commission because they were interested in doing this project. I think it would be an interesting project, given that, you know, in terms of the conservation aspect and learning about maybe the New Hampshire Wildlife Federation, what they do. So the gentleman I did speak to, Steve Crawford, who was actually the state veterinarian for the state of New Hampshire, who's on that committee, and he would like to come and talk to us about it. So next time, for the next meeting in April, I think we can schedule that. So.
But is there an outlay of funds? They have what's required for each site, so do they expect the landowner or the applicant to pay those?
I'm really not sure about that. I think we'd have to ask them about that. From what I understand, what they do is, if you have a site, say it's on a piece of conservation land, that's been logged or something of that nature, they come in with a truck of sand and they put sand down, and apparently the turtles kind of,
Flock to it.
Yeah, but there's a cost
yeah.
for the.
Yeah, when I read that
10
last,
to 20 yards of sand.
yeah, they were looking for people to donate that, from what I read
Right.
last time, that what you need is 10 to 20 yards of sand, but they're hoping for people to donate it. It looked
Yeah,
like,
it creates
Yeah.
opportunities for charitable donors to partner with New
Yeah.
Hampshire.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's something, maybe
It'd be good to have them
I
come in and
think
talk.
have them in and, you know, you can ask questions
Yeah.
and find out a little
Get
bit more
started.
about what they
Yeah.
do.
But the DeRocher property might be a spot, we could do that, where we might be able to find a spot at well, we're leasing community garden land, right?
I don't think that's that great of an area because up on the hill, it's near water, but
Yeah, it's way up on the hill. We'd have to get it down to
Well,
By the
but- so-
bridge.
to the stream.
I know I've said this
The
100
bridge.
times already, but if you go over the guardrail from 3A, headed down towards Parker Park,
Yeah, it's loaded in
Oh, on
there.
that bank?
Fred and I cleared off all the
It was
brush
all
there,
dug up.
so it's loaded with turtle nests.
so, did you go over the guardrail towards the water or towards the
Yeah,
road?
towards the water.
Towards the water.
Yeah, it's loaded with,
Loaded.
right in the middle of the road, just dump
Yeah,
it.
I mean, so that's an existing one, but, and it must be because it's probably west facing, but anyways.
So, do they need stream or just, like, is it like, a pond or swamp areas? Cause like out behind, DeRocher's, it's pretty, it's.
They need
pretty,
sun.
Wet back
They
there.
need sun. I
It
don't
needs
think they
sun,
need
so the
necessarily
sun
water.
incubates the eggs in the sand,
Yeah.
so,
We have
Hatching.
along Albuquerque between Pinecrest and Nessenkangle every year.
Minzigian household had 3 nests last year,
Where? Where,
right on the edge of the banking as it went down.
where are you saying in here,
Pardon?
where did you say? Where?
Minzigian
Oh,
property.
on Zeke property?
Yeah, they were all snapping
Down,
turtles.
down below the sand there in the backyard.
How about on, Moore's Falls?
It's a possibility.
Where?
The beach area, maybe?
Down by the river, you mean?
No,
so we, possibly, when you're going down the path, there's, before you get to the intersection,
Yeah.
there are some sections, it's got some scrub brush in there now, but.
We could clear
We
it.
could, there was like, I think an old farmhouse or cellar hole in there, so that does get some sun, so that might, and there is the small little stream along the side, that might be potential area.
That's easy to,
To get
should be
it low.
accessible if we get
Yeah.
a couple dump trucks in there.
Why don't we have them come in
yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
and talk to us?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
said that we would invite him to the April meeting.
See if we got
So that,
the right
heard about it.
location.
And
April meeting.
April is the third? April 3rd?
No, the third.
Yeah, so definitely, anybody have an issue with, having them?
No.
come
Oh, that's
speak to
great.
us?
Great,
Sounds good.
I think it's a great program.
Sure.
And
Turtle soup is the best.
there you go.
yeah.
Okay, Kevin Lynch.
Michael, anything else?
That's all I had. I just wanted to bring that up. So.
Harry, how about you?
No. Other than the snowbanks that, stop people from going into Moores Falls and
Yeah.
everywhere.
Well, it's melted fast today.
Yeah, it's melting real fast. It's supposed to be up and warm next week too, so that snow will be going quick. Joan, anything?
No,
I don't have anything else. Fred?
No. I thought next week I'll probably start walking a couple Moores Falls, see what damage occurred during the winter. Should be low enough then so we can walk around and figure out what's going on.
Yep. George, anything?
Nothing.
All right, wow. Might actually get out of here at a reasonable time tonight. All right, next up, well, I guess we covered,
Gotta watch.
everything for member input. Approval of meeting minutes?
I read them and I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I had no complaints.
Yeah, I was good with them. Joan, did you have any, comments?
no.
So I make a motion that we approve February's minutes of the meeting.
I second, Harry's, motion. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, motion, you weren't here last week, right?
So I'm gonna
Yes,
abstain.
motion carries 5-0.
Wasn't here neither.
5-0-2.
There you go.
All right, and the next meeting is March sixth.
No, that's
Obviously, I
today.
missed that on the,
April 3rd.
on the, agenda.
April
update.
April
3rd.
3rd.
April
April
3rd.
3rd.
April 3rd. Is there a need for, non-public? I don't have anything, for that, so I think we're actually good with that.
Oh, I had one thing for member input.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to officially get it on the record that it's Matt's birthday today, and happy birthday, Matt. And that's why
Thank you.
the cupcakes are here, just in case people were wondering, and it's,
Now everybody ready? Happy birthday.
okay, I'm done now.
All right, thank you. All right, with, that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, George makes a motion, Joan seconds, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries 7-0.